Welcome back. Today we are making this classic Oreo drip cake. To make this cake, I'm using some black cocoa cake layers. As you can see, I've used one batch of cake batter to make 3 cake layers that are 8 inches across. This cake isn't going to be quite as tall as my normal cakes, but it will get a little bit of additional height from the decorations. As you can see, I'm filling this cake with an Oreo buttercream, which I'm topping with some crushed Oreos and a drizzle of chocolate ganache. The cake is going to be decorated with a chocolate drip, and whenever I do that, I love to add some of the ganache to the inside of the cake as well, just because I always have a little bit of leftover, and I don't think anyone has ever complained about extra chocolate ganache. Once my cake layers were stacked, I began to work on my crumb coat. I started at the top of the cake and then I covered the sides until the cake layers were completely coated in frosting. I smoothed the crumb coat using my large offset spatula and my bench scraper. I popped the cake into the freezer for about 5 minutes until my crumb coat was firm to the touch, and then I went to work on my second layer of frosting. So I'm being very generous with this because I love Oreo buttercream. It is one of my favorite flavors, and I'm adding quite a bit to the sides. I smoothed my frosting using my bench scraper and a small offset spatula, and then I went to work decorating the base of the cake. As you can see, I'm adding some crushed Oreos, and I patted them into place with my spatula. I chilled the cake again for about 10 minutes to help the frosting get really cold before adding on our chocolate ganache drips. I highly recommend doing this because the ganache is going to be a little bit warm, and chilling the buttercream helps it stand up better to that heat. Once all of our drips were around the cake, it was time to decorate the top. I wanted to add some epic swirls of that Oreo buttercream, so I went really nice and high, making several passes around with a Wilton 1M frosting tip. You can see here that it's really important that your frosting is silky smooth, so I highly recommend using a food processor to fully crush your Oreos when you make it. If you try to chop them by hand, sometimes they'll still be bigger pieces of Oreo and they can clog your frosting tip. I actually did run into that at one point while I was decorating this cake, and it was super frustrating, so please be mindful of that. Once I had placed all of my Oreos on top along with all those gorgeous buttercream swirls, the cake was complete. So this cake really is truly a classic drip cake. We're not throwing out any crazy techniques, it's just really good flavors combined with some beautiful, simple decorations. I wanted to stay on theme with the whole Oreo flavor of this cake, so I used a blue knife to match the package that Oreos come in. I cut a very generous slice, just like always, so that you guys can see the inside of the cake. If you want to make this classic Oreo drip cake, the recipe is up on Chelsweets.com. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.